Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're in your 50s like me, you're probably looking for something to stay active, earn a little bit of extra money, and maybe turn a hobby into something that can be a side hustle and turn into a regular stream of income. And today I'm going to talk to you about 7 side hustles that you can start for less than $1,000, and many of them for a lot less than $1,000, and that are great for people over 50. These are in no particular order, and number 1 is pet sitting and dog walking. This is great for many people. Love spending time with animals. They have their own animals, cats and dogs. I love animals as well. And why not turn this pleasant activity of yours into something that can earn you money? That way it can be beneficial to you, and you can help others that are too busy. They need someone to look after their pets. And the great thing is that you can do this independently, so by word of mouth, get some business cards and advertise yourself as a dog walker or a pet sitter. Or you can use websites and apps that can hook you up with potential customers, like for example, one is an app called Wag. And the great thing about this side hustle, it doesn't require a lot of investment, maybe even zero, but at most, you may have to get some business cards, maybe go to some events of the local chamber of commerce, or go to a dog or a cat park and spread the word out. And this is a great side hustle. The second side hustle that you can start is be engaged in tour experiences or become a tour guide. And this is especially if you live in a city that is very touristy, or there's a lot of art, or a city that you know a lot about, maybe the city where you grew up, the town where you grew up. There may be like tours that you can advertise yourself for and be a host. And so take couples or small groups, for example, like to wine trips, or just take them to museums. And this is great because you can spread the voice to maybe travel agents or even online. And this is a good way that doesn't require a lot of investment. Maybe at most you can take some classes on how to be a tour guide. You might have to pay some kind of license to the city or to your municipality to do this, but it's something that you can really start with not too much investment, and that will allow you to get to meet other people, have improve your social life as well, and make some decent money and learn a lot, become like a more cultured person. Another great side hustle is to become like an elderly companion or like a house sitter. There are many elderly people out there that are lonely, or that they need some companionship. Some elderly people, their children need to find someone to spend time with them. They may be taking care of the elderly people by themselves, but they need a break. They need a Sunday off, or they've got something going on, and they may be looking for someone reliable that can, chit-chat with the elderly person that you're looking after. Or maybe it doesn't necessarily entail being like a nurse or anything of the sort, or maybe you need to cook for an elderly person, and just make sure that they don't get in trouble. There could be some people that have like memory problems, but this doesn't mean that you have to become a nurse, give medication, or anything of the sort. It's just like be a companion to these people, and you'll see that this is like a type of activity that there's a lot of demand, and it doesn't require like a lot of investment, because you can just spread the word out. Again, go to like events, and these are really like your family friends that can hook you up with people that need these kinds of services. Or you can find people that have like trips scheduled, and so they're gonna go to Europe for 2 weeks or something, and they don't want to leave their house unattended, and they want you to go and water their plants or water their vegetables and make sure the cat has food and like that kind of stuff. And this is like a great side hustle, because again, it doesn't require like a lot of capital to start. And again, you're just gonna get to know people, make some money, make connections, and this can turn into overlapping side hustles. Maybe you're gonna start, taking their dogs or their other animals out for a walk. You can market your services yourself by word of mouth, maybe print some business cards, but there are also apps like Wizant, Outschool, and VipKid that can help you find customers. Another great side hustle that not many influencers or people on YouTube talk about, but that I think is a great one, is to become a notary public or a mobile notary. And this doesn't require like a lot of investment. Maybe you have to get like a little license from the city, and you have to take courses to get your license as a public notary. But usually they're like a day or two, and they're just like a few $100s. And mobile notaries especially can charge pretty good money, because they're usually these people that go to people's homes when there's like, you know, mortgage documents to be signed, or you can have to go because there's an elderly person that is signing a will or signing a trust or all these legal documents. You know, it's not too complicated because you're not really dealing with the content of the documents, but just like notarizing the signatures. But it's a great side hustle because these mobile notaries, they can get paid some pretty good money, and also you're gonna be able to work as much or as little as you want. Another side hustle that you can think about is start a print-on-demand business, like printing on t-shirts, logos, and that kind of stuff. This is gonna require a little bit more of investment because you're gonna have to buy the hardware to be able to print on demand. So this may require a little bit more research, a little bit more investment up front, but it can be a great way to make money from your home. And the good thing is that you're gonna be able to sell online, maybe like on Etsy or like on other websites. Obviously, this is gonna be a little bit more complicated because you're talking about like selling actual physical products. So it's gonna require you to know how to ship, go to the post office, or, you know, get all of that organized. So this is more like a side hustle that is similar to, for example, reselling or flipping stuff, and the complexity is that you're dealing with products, so you need to move the products, ship them, or have them delivered, and you know, you might have to use websites that require like a little bit more regular commitment, and the margins tend to be like quite narrow. But if you sell a lot of volume of t-shirts and stuff, you can make some really good money. And finally, another side hustle that I think is very good for people over 50, especially if you're still active, is to become a delivery driver or an errand runner. And that means that you're gonna be able to use your vehicle for your side hustle. Good thing about becoming a delivery driver is that you don't have to like drive people around. Like if you go on Uber or Lyft, you're gonna have to drive strangers in your car, and some people don't wanna do that. Or you can become like a delivery driver of stuff that is more specialized. For example, like some people deliver medicines, and that can probably pay you a lot more. Or some people can become like errand runners for like they run documents. For example, like some businesses have to get documents from one another very fast. Like for example, like CPAs, lawyers do, sometimes doctors. And become a delivery driver for those kinds of businesses can be very profitable. And one thing to remember is that if you're driving your vehicle for these services like DoorDash or Instacart, you've got to make sure that you get the appropriate insurance while you're driving for these businesses, because your regular car insurance may not always cover your runs for these services, and you don't want to get into accidents and not have adequate insurance. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you don't want to wait until my next video comes out, just check out the one here that the algorithm suggests. Thank you.